games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 71, Saturday sunny with a high near 90, and Sunday sunny with a high around 84. Head to Cafe Latte's Pizza and Wine Bar featuring a full menu of gourmet pizzas and more than 30 wines by the glass. It's casual, cozy, and seriously delicious. Off Victoria and Grand in St. Paul. Reserve or order now at cafelatte.com. That's cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Greg Bakun. I hope everyone has had a fantastic week. Meanwhile, in Prairie, we have the magnificent Adam over taking care of things. How are things going? Do you know which button to press over there? Because a lot of those sliders seem to have like Post-it notes on them, so you're not able to use them. I noticed that the other day.
I'm down to 6 channels now on the board. And but on the bright side, we had another computer monitor die in here this week, so that's why it's even brighter. But now we're down to just 2 from the 1990s left, and we have one from this century at least, not this decade, but at least from the century.
Yeah, it's cutting edge. You know, funny enough, it is cutting edge for radio stations. Funny enough, I mean that's kind of how it is. People say to me all the time, like, "Oh, I'd love to come down and see the radio station." And I'm like, "Would you though?
Yeah,
would you? I don't know.
Are they cleaners? Some chance."
Well, and you know, the thing is, it's like you know, like somebody from like who worked in that building from like the 1970s ran into Chad one day, and he's just like, "Oh, I'd love to come by and visit." And I said to Chad, I was like, "He'll probably notice that not one thing has changed." So, enjoy that. So, Adam, when do you think the last time was that we did a Casual Friday?
Swenson Family Farm.
You are right. That's August 15th.
August 15th?
August 15th was the last time we've done a Casual Friday.
Dude, that's been a while.
It has been a while. It's just
glad I hit the right bumper music.
Well, you know, I didn't know what to expect. Let's be honest. You know, it could with you, it can go anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of left it to the wind to guide you to where you needed to go. So
Well, we're only at the beginning of segment 1. We still got a lot of time to go.
we still have a lot of time to go. But you know what? I've been looking forward to this all day. These are always so much fun to do, and just there's been some news and stuff coming up. We got question of the week today, and I just like, gosh, I missed this. It's been a while. It's there's been a lot of stuff going on, and now that we're into officially spooky season month, there's a lot going on again. But it's good. I think it's really good. What I have to say, for those who, and I don't think anyone cares, to be perfectly honest, that I am not at the Rock Island Esoteric Expo this weekend. And I had to pull out due to some stuff that came up at the last minute. But I'm going to be honest, I'm a little disappointed. Like tonight, I was supposed to do a CE5 experiment out there. And I let them know that I can't go, and I can't really go into why I couldn't go, but I let them know why. And two out of the two of them I talked to, one was very gracious and kind. The other is just like, well, thanks for letting me know. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. And then not that I'm like Schrader over here or anything, but you'd think that because I'm running a ticketed event. I'm supposed to be broadcasting all weekend from this venue on their behalf. You'd think there'd be something like, Greg Bakun is, and I'm unable to attend this weekend. It's not, it doesn't need to be the Gettysburg Address, in a post. It just needs to be like, he's not going to be here. And they didn't do that. And it's like, okay, I mean, I'm not mad or anything, but it's just kind of odd to me that, I'm GhostBox has been a sponsor. We've talked about the event countless times, and unlike Facebook Lives and stuff, when we talk about it on the radio, that's money. That's revenue basically, because we don't really advertise. If we're advertising for free or anything, that's on us to do. But you got to look at it as value added at the very least. So you think that you get, some kind of like, that, oh, he's not going to be here this weekend. And, I don't expect at that point hundreds of people being sad about it either. But it was just kind of like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm kind of expendable, and that's fine. I mean, there's a lot of vendors, which is good for the consumer coming in. But for folks like us who, we're trying to get, traction on our own stuff, it's kind of like, well, a dime a dozen. No, Greg, that's okay. We're going to fill the space in with somebody else. So, I know it sounds poopy on my end to kind of be like this, but it's just kind of like, okay, well, there we go. I guess that meant really not a whole lot. So I'm a little sore about it, but, and it was, and I had to back out. I had no choice. And so it wasn't of my own design, because we were down to the wire to go out there. But that being said, folks, if you're able to go out to the Rock Island Esoteric Expo in Rock Island, Illinois, we've been talking about it, and there's going to be a lot of vendors out there. So you'll definitely get your Paracon on, you'll get your Paranormal on. But that's one of like 3 tirades I'm going to have tonight, Adam. That we're not even begun. We haven't begun yet.
Let's say it does kind of stink, because you were also planning on going out and seeing the Munsters movie.
Yeah.
Well, you were out there too, because it's playing in a nearby town this weekend too, and Butch Patrick's going to be out there with it. And
yeah,
I know you were looking forward to going to the drive-in out there and peeping that out.
Yeah, no, it's it is what it is, and I mean it. But I just feel like that was a little bit of a bummer, and I just kind of wanted to air that a little bit. Like, I'm not, when people do that, right away people think, oh, you angry at them, you hate them. Well, no, not at all. It's a disappointment, but it's whatever. It's not the end of the world or anything. It's just that, well, maybe this wasn't the right venue for me to go to, and I think a lot of what I'm going to do going forward is focus on the Twin Cities, focus on events here and kind of get that going, and get events, work with Shar, get other events going that will hopefully benefit, local paranormal enthusiasts. That's kind of what this show is about. So get back to somewhat more of the basics and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it is sad that we're not able to roll out there this weekend because they are going to be missing the number 12 ranked podcast according to millions of downloads.
Yeah.
Which I do want to thank all of our listeners. A year ago, since we didn't get to talk about this when the number actually came out, we were at 34 a year ago.
Yeah.
And all you folks here have gotten us up to 12. Thank you so very much.
It's very
we
sorry.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, it's very humbling. And I think it can't, it's really actually kind of hard to believe, not because of anything other than there's so much out there and that we've made the list twice. Did you know, I don't know if you knew this, that I think it's This Queer Book actually made number 1 on that list on Millions Podcasts.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I read Jim writing about it on his Facebook page, but unlike me, who like emailed the entire station to let them know that hey, we got number 12. Hey, here's a parade. Where is my parade? Jim just posted it on his Facebook page, and that was it. I don't think he didn't go to everyone's cube like I did and like, did you read the email? Just like, please leave us alone. So yeah. Sunnybrook says she's like, hey, new here, welcome, very happy to have you here. October, Adam, Halloween month, we have some amazing guests coming up this month. I just am so excited by what we're going to be talking about this month and who we're going to have on, and try to really make it kind of the spooky fair, if you will, just some very spooky sort of people talking about spooky sort of things. So I'm excited.
I am too. The Halloween season is my favorite of all the holiday seasons. In fact, it's the only holiday season me and the family actually decorate for.
Sure.
But that leads me to a question. Other than the Halloween season, is there any other season that you kind of get amped up for? Because for me, it is literally just the Halloween season.
I get into Christmas on my own terms, right? I don't put up a tree or anything, but me being a big paranormal person, I will go like the ghost stories, a Christmas sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not to get into religion, and this isn't really, this is just my thing, is I find Easter and believing, growing up Catholic, like Good Friday. Good Friday is very haunting for me. I think it's whether or not it really happened or whatever else, that's not here for me to say. Everyone has their own belief on that, but just like Stations of the Cross and what happens during all of those and then everything else, it's always been very mysterious for me and very haunting. So that I find really interesting.
And I think I got ruined for Easter because I was an altar boy. So I had to do all the Easter masses. Same with like Christmas. I always had to do the midnight mass and things like that. So it's always like Halloween was the one I always looked forward to because I had no other commitments other than getting dressed up and going out and doing stuff on my own.
Yeah, I was an altar boy as well. But we didn't have, at that time, we didn't have midnight mass, thank goodness. But we had to do a bunch of those things too. Sunnybrook says, "Oh my God, Good Friday freaks me out too." It's just such an interest. It's odd. It's always odd that Catholic Church generally do not recognize paranormal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's nothing but stories of paranormal, really.
Thank you. Yes.
And so be it, whatever. So yeah, no, it's really, it's such a strange thing. And, we had Father Bob on some time ago, and, it was nice because we could ask him, like, why do they act like this? Why is the case? Because he's so open-minded, and he does walk both sides of it. And it's just like, yeah, that's the stance, but not all of us follow that. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. And I always appreciate having Father Bob on because he's really good at just laying it out there and being very honest, because we had him on and I think you were on that night, weren't you, talking about the conclave?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, as your wife says, zombie Jesus.
Does that make him the original zombie?
Well, you know what, does this make us a fodder for people sending mail and email in about us? I mean, this is
at Adam at AM950 Radio. That's fine. I'll take all the fodder you want, because I also always had the it was an argument at one of the places I used to work at. Yeah, I would make the zombie Jesus joke, and people, some would laugh, some would be like, eh. But then I'm like, but everybody enjoys Frankenstein. He was the original zombie, and that's what would start the arguments. Me calling Frankenstein's monster a zombie.
Well, the thing is one of them is a fictional character, and the other one is Frankenstein's monster. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, do we have the rim shot?
Comment at ghostboxradio.com.
Again, you can reach me. It's Adam at am950radio.com.
He gives out that email address, but he doesn't actually check it ever. Trust me.
It's like my Yahoo account. I've got thousands of unread messages, but feel free.
Yeah, no, it's folks, it's, before we go any further, we're just joking. Now, when we're going to come back in a little bit, and then we get serious, and I get poopy again. Trust me, I'm not done with that stance. It's not about Rock Island. It's about other things, because we're going to be going to break here in a minute. But we are going to talk about breaking news at the Conjuring House today, and we'll go through that. And Adam and I will share our opinions on it. If you have an opinion on it, once we get to it, I'd love to hear what you have to say as well. You can also call in 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Folks, why don't we do this? Let's go ahead, take our first break. When we come back, I want to talk about Jason Hawes and the Conjuring House. We have question of the week we want to get to, all sorts of things, plus whatever's on your mind, folks. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM950.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser, and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's after hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio tonight. Thank you very much for joining us as we head into the weekend. I do want to let people know we don't have it planned out yet, because why would we? But we're getting there, doing another special for Halloween night, which is Friday, October 31st. Now, we all know that it's always October 31st, but it's a Friday this year. And we don't know how long it's going to be. We do not know where it's going to be. We don't know who's going to be on it. But other than that, we have it all figured out. And we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I've been talking to a few people, even a new possibility tonight. So it's really exciting. So I'm very happy about that. I just want to let you all know about that. Oh, Adam, look who we have here. Look at that. Crunchy Soup is here. We haven't seen her in quite some time. I don't know. She kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, and there she is.
How did you forget you had how do you forget you have a Facebook?
I don't know. She says, how is everyone? I love you all. So that's
well, we missed you, Emily. We truly have.
I know you've just been disappeared. You'll have to excuse me, folks. We're gonna have a private conversation with Emily here real fast. I got a new cat, so there. We just now you're all caught up, so you know everything.
I acquired 2 more dogs, so we're set.
Oh, we got it all figured out now. Now, breaking news in the paranormal community. She says, "Don't you call me out too late." So that's
well, if you rewind it, we'll just take this part out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No one's listening anyway. Now, if breaking news in the paranormal community here, as Jason Haas put out a video today, basically saying that he is starting up. He's starting up a GoFundMe for trying to get a conglomerate of folks to put in money so that they can have a chance at bidding and successfully winning a chance to own the Conjuring house. The reason why that he wants to do this is that he does not want people who are going to exploit the house and exploit the paranormal community for going to a location and making them pay a ton of money and turning it onto just this big money making machine. We all know going to locations and stuff that you have to there is upkeep, you should pay to get in. I understand that there is a business thing, but some of these places are going way beyond that because of the popularity of the location and stuff. And to each their own, right? If you own the place, you have a right to do whatever you want with it, I guess. But what Jason would like to do is he would like to get, and right now the GoFundMe is asking, they're trying to raise $1.5 million by Halloween. I think it goes on auction Halloween, you said, right?
Yes.
They've raised so far $18,361. They have 335 donations thus far. And, I see people in the comments here, like Sunnybrook says, wow, I love this idea. I would like to know, why am I so kind of cold on this idea? And, I'm thinking about it. And let me preface this, first of all, and some of you are not going to like this. I'm going to preface this by saying that you do whatever you want with your money. I understand too that the Conjuring house is a place that people hold very dear, and that they want to make sure it's protected. And Jason Haas has a very he's well known. Why am I having an issue with this? Is I'm personally very sick and tired of seeing, and this is a generalized statement, but I'm sick and tired of seeing paranormal people asking us for money for things. And I'm not saying, oh, Jason should buy it outright himself. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that at all. And I understand where you're coming from, but it's really tough because I have seen a lot of good places fall to the wayside over the years that no one stepped up to try to help, or the people who did try to help don't have the backing of a Jason Haas. And it's kind of exposes to me kind of a click in the paranormal, because Andrea Perrin has put out a video asking Jason Haas for help and all of this stuff. And if you put your money towards this house, you do what you want to do. I think that's absolutely fine. And I think Jason did say in the video, if it doesn't work, they're going to find someone to help refund money and stuff. I just am kind of like, I'm sick of seeing this. I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I feel like that I just don't, it just seems like so much, and I don't feel like that the paranormal community is necessarily benefiting from it anyway. I think that, and you and I talked before we got on the air here, that I feel like that if someone like Jason Haas or some of the other big paranormal people, they say it, people just follow. They just follow, this, and hoping that that he will see their name in the fundraising, the GoFundMe. Some of them were anonymous, but some who I expected to see on that list were on that list, and they're hoping to be seen by Jason or whomever, and that will suddenly create a friendship or whatever else out of it. And that's something that it's just like, I'm getting so tired of that sort of thing that it's actually really affecting my enjoyment of anything paranormal, to be perfectly honest. So I was, and that's just my opinion. That's just my take on it. And please know, folks, I mean, if you think it's a great idea, that's great. It doesn't seem like it's something that you could lose on. You're not going to lose your money on it. Either you're going to donate it and it will work in a good favor, or you're going to donate and they're going to refund it back. It's just, I'm so tired though of we need this, we need your help, we need this, and whatever else. And I think of places like the Calumet in Pipestone, Minnesota, that could really benefit from having someone to really rally and try to step in and save it, or the soap factory in St. Anthony, Maine, Minnesota, or even something like out in Baraboo, the Baraboo Inn. It's not closing or anything, but I bet they would love to have some attention on such a great place. I know that you can't have a person like Jason Haas championing all of these. I get that. I understand that. But so many of these big paranormal people are on the East Coast. So they know about these places, but all of these other places throughout the rest of the country, unless you get to the West Coast, and that's the Ghost Adventure people, that's where you get the haunted museum and stuff like that, or even like the Goldfield, or, places like that. It all gets lost. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm struggling to think that right away that this is such a great idea. And maybe some things could just be left. And Adam, you and I'm gonna let you talk. I promise I'll let you talk. The thing is, I'm starting to sound like McNeil over here, quite frankly. The thing is, though, is that I just feel like that it's just not like, it's still not going to be enough, because if someone thinks that they can make money off of it and swoop in and buy it, I don't think that this is going to really work in the favor that they want to. You had said that it sold for 1.5 2 years ago originally. They're asking for 1.5 now. It's probably not going to work. I almost feel like it's failed at the very start, but that's just my take. Adam, what's your take?
Well, I'm of two sides of this, because you're right. A lot of the paranormal TV people have been asking for help, and there's been a couple out there that many of you have seen on Travel Channel shows and such, or A&E shows, that put out GoFundMes for completely fraudulent reasons, and we're not going to name them.
No.
but there are at least 2 out there that have been very prominent over the last 15 or so years that have done that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I think that Andrea and Jason and the little conglomerate of people that they're going to try and get together are essentially doing this to prevent people from like Matt Rife going in and buying the Conjuring house like he did the Warren Museum
Mm-hmm.
and charging out the nose to A, go in there, then 2, anything that you film, record, or whatnot, you have to turn over to them. They go through your evidence, then they charge you to post it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main reason that Jason is getting involved, because of what Matt Rife has done. Now, on the other side, you've got Sam and Colby, who bought the school in Iowa, and everything seems to be going swimming there. It's inexpensive to get into. They are doing the upkeep, and what you capture is yours.
I think another issue with all this too is like, Jason's effort is very gallant. I can see that, but at the same time, if you really want to stop this stuff, stop going to these places.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people think a place like the Conjuring house, just like, for example, the Sadie house over in Atchison, Kansas, next to the McIntyre Villa. Everyone's always like, "Oh my goodness, the Sadie house. It's so ridiculously haunted. It's so crazy. Be careful being in there. I've been there like 2-3 times. Nothing has ever happened." And I also know that it's also subjective. I mean, different people get affected each time, but I'm with other people and nothing happens. And so people feel like, oh, I almost like and I used to be this way, almost like as like a code of honor or something. You're going to some of these big name places because you could, and that you can tell other people, I've been to the Conjuring house. I've been to the Queen Mary. I've been to, the Birdcage Theater, and be able to kind of wear that on your sleeve. But if, there should be a point that people, their wallets should talk. If like this is getting too ridiculous, for the Warren Museum, if people are still paying for it, then that's on them. I mean, it's because that's how we should now react to these places. If we're thinking that, I used to really want to get into the Warren Museum for a lot of reasons. Now I just know I never will. I will not go there. If I had the money to go there, I will not go there. And a lot of things in my mind has changed to the point that it's no longer the same place that I wanted to visit and wanted to pay respect to. So my wallet's going to talk in those situations.
Absolutely. And it's almost kind of like that's the whole Matt Rife thing that grinds my gears in a way that really bugs me.
Yeah.
Because I eventually looked at like the Warren Museum as an actual museum.
Yeah.
That's the way I viewed it. Now he's turned it into a roadside attraction, essentially.
I think so. Yeah.
And that bugs me. And that's why I'm not going to donate. I work in radio. I don't have money to donate. But,
Right.
I do like the fact that, on all honesty, my opinion of Jason Hawes is he's one of the very few actual bright spots of paranormal TV.
Yeah.
I respect him and his methodology more than any of the other ones that have come and gone over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So with him, I can get behind it. Like I said, ain't going to be able to donate, work in radio, but he's the kind of person I would support buying a house or a property like this to keep it open to the public.
If I may, I think, if you're in another state or if you're in Minnesota or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'd like to support a location, I'd look to see the locations in your state and see if they need money, see if they need help, or make sure that you are taking part in, going and checking out their locations, because, people you might have some investigators in Minnesota being like, oh, I'd love to go to the Conjuring house. I understand. I get it. But maybe please consider going to the ones around you, because the places that I've been to in Minnesota are fantastic. And once again, I can't help but think of Calumet Inn, where you have an owner who would, bend over backwards to make sure that you are taking care of the people who are over at the Conjuring House who had previously owned it, screwed around on so many levels.
Mhm.
But Tammy at the Calumet, she's doing everything she can to help people, but also keep her business going. And she's now her hotel is no longer open. It's not because of that solely, don't get me wrong, but it's the same with also like the Anderson Hotel. It's not closed or anything, but if you want to say how well that these things are doing, then go and hunt locally. How about that, Adam? Hunt locally. What is that for a tagline?
I don't know. Maybe instead of doing eat locals, maybe we should start doing hot locals here on the station. And actually, we'll talk about that one off the air.
Yeah, right. There is going to be
this might be money in my pocket, so we're gonna hold off on that one.
Right.
But yeah, you make a good point. I mean, Swinson Family Farm, which you were just at,
yeah,
and that you talked about at length on Monday. Still can't stand Barnes. Barnes freak me out. Go back and listen to Monday's show, please.
It's very good.
It is very good. But Swinson Family Farm, that's another one you can donate cash to, donate time to.
Yeah. Just because it's a well-known place, I just think about the other places that are around you, that like, even if I was in Atchison, Kansas, the McIntyre Villa, I mean, these are places I've been to, and I've had extraordinary activity at these places, as well as there's good owners at these places. So I just feel like this is something that people can, just kind of consider. I asked them to consider it. Please just don't give money because it's a known house that, you saw in a movie or something. Just please, can't think about in like also like the historical locations, even though they may not say that they're haunted, and we all know that they are. Like you
got a lot of limestone,
and like your Fort Snellings, for example. That's all I'm saying. And once again, it's your money. Do what you want to do. I mean, and there will be no judgment. It's just that I would, this is like, I appreciate what Jason's doing, and they certainly got the right spokesperson to try to help raise the money to buy the Conjuring House. But there's so much around that please consider some of the other ones that are near you that and if you haven't gone to them, go check them out. Anderson House is doing ghost tours that you just go to their site and they'll tell you when they're doing them. We're going to have Theater in the Round here on Monday, and they're doing ghost tours. We're going to talk about that. Just support the local ones, because that's where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah, or even one of our sponsors here, Haunted Trolley Tours.
And Haunted Trolley Tours, which they just moved to the Pillsbury Mansion. This is always really what it comes down to. And it just, folks, this is our opinion. Do what you want to do. But I saw that today, and I'm just like, yeah, I appreciate it, but something's not quite sitting with me quite right on it. So that's all.
Well, then we'll also have to see, what YouTube series comes up out of it too.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. How many times we're going to see thumbnails of like two guys in their 20s, one has a shocked face and the other one, and then Annabelle's in between them or something. I just like, I mean, I just, and that's apparently that's what you have to do, and for the algorithm, all that stuff. And it within 5 hours, they raised $18,000. Within a year and a half, I haven't raised like hardly any money for my own Patreon. So, I don't know. It's like, okay.
Well, maybe we should have Jason voice over a commercial for your Patreon.
That might be expensive. That might be a little expensive.
I don't know. What does his cameos cost? And just have him read that message. And we just use that over and over again.
No kidding. Gosh. Folks, let's, you know what? We didn't get to what anybody said in the comments about this. Why don't we do this? Let's take another break. When we come back, I want to read the comments, what people think about what we've been talking about. Your opinion matters. I'd love to see what you all have to say. So we're taking a break. Don't go anywhere. When you come back, more Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 5th year, November 7th through the 9th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. There's nothing like Twin Cities Con. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than before. Come see from the Star Wars universe Ahmad Best, Rosario Dawson and Giancarlo Esposito, Brendan Fraser, and the cast of The Mummy, WWE Wrestling Hall of Famers Sting and Mick Foley, and the voice actors from the hit Disney series Phineas and Ferb, plus more guests to be announced. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $50. Kids tickets are just $10 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including a 3-day weekend pass, plus some really cool VIP perks. More guests will be announced. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And join me Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. As I mentioned, we're going to have Larissa from Theater and Around, as well as paranormal investigators, David and Alicia, who I've known for years, who are working with Larissa, talking about ghost stories, talking about the tours that they're going to do there in Theater and Around. It's going to be pretty incredible. Tuesday, we're going to have Char Savoy on. She's going to be talking about her journey from paranormal investigator to medium. Just this weekend, this past week, she celebrated her 15th anniversary of her first haunted location. I thought it'd be fun to talk about that. One question readings with Refined Divine on Wednesday. And Thursday, we're going to do a replay with one of 3 that we're going to start over the next 3 weeks. Lynn Monet talking about her pretty much frightening book series that are based on her life experiences. So you're not going to miss out on that. And real fast, Twin Cities Con coming up here, I'm going to have a panel. I don't know when exactly yet, but I will have a panel that weekend sharing some of my paranormal experiences and recordings. So please, if you come out to Twin Cities Con, make sure you stop by our table and make sure you stop by the presentation, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It was fun when we did it in Des Moines Con as well. So real fast, as we talked about this whole Jason Hawes thing, I wanted to kind of get some reactions here as people were talking about. Let's see here, starting with Gray Duck Paranormal. They say, I'm with you, I'm cold on it too. Emily says, I agree, tepid at best. And then Sunnybrook says, I completely get where you're coming from. She says, I didn't see it that way, but it makes sense now. Gray Duck Paranormal then says it's a bit cringy. Plus, I don't want right CNS to get back heavily involved in the house. I don't hold them in high regard. I was looking at some of their stuff, and I'm like, no. Let's see here. Let's see. Your wife wanted me to give her $5. Once again, we work in radio. You should know. Let's see here. Sunnybrook says, I love hearing this right now. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. And once again, let's see. Sunnybrook then says, for me personally, to donate my own hard-earned money to a haunted property, I would have to have some sort of emotional connection to it. I think that's true too, to be honest. I mean, and I mean, everyone's connection is different to everything. I understand, but to me, I really don't. It's a house that I did not grow up in, and I'm hoping that Andrea then, because she's so much desires to help save the house. I'm hoping that she puts money in. He said, what's his face? Jason said that he is going to donate as much money as he can. And, I would, not to be a jerk about it, but I'd like to see what that is. If you could see what everyone else is donating, would also like to see what he is planning on donating as well. I think it's just fair. And saying, if Andrea wants the house saved, I'm hoping that the parent family then is going to put some money in as well, because otherwise it's not going to happen. That's just my take.
Yeah. Is Andrea the last one left of the parent kids?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there's been, there had been some losses. And I know that she's been unwell for a little while. And I think, and I'm not quite sure where all that is at. But that being said, I really haven't paid attention, because, you start, and I hate to be a downer tonight, folks, but it's really hard to start following these, quote, paranormal celebrities around, because it's always something. And so, it's not about it. I find that the more I get into the paranormal community, the online community, the further away I actually get from paranormal, the further away I actually get from the idea of communicating with spirits. And but to me, it starts becoming more of like, who likes this person best? Who likes that person best? And I quite frankly, I'm sick of it. As I mentioned on Monday's show, I had quite the paranormal experience. And it just kind of revitalized me as like, no, this is what it's about. It's about being able to share these connections with people. And these are people that I've never actually met before in a lot of cases. And we shared a very specific paranormal experience. It's not about going and standing in line for some guy who was on a show 10 years ago and is fighting for his life to try to stay relevant in the field, and you're trying to get his autograph. No, this is a real paranormal experience. And do we remember that these happen? So yeah, I'm a little fiery tonight, clearly, but it's like I'm starting to really kind of change my ideation about how all this works. And you see on my show, I don't bring on really celebrities, because they don't have anything often very new to say. It's the authors, it's the people with new concepts that we bring on, because we're so excited to hear new learnings and new ideas. And so that's why we get it, I guess. So yeah. Do you think we have anyone listening left, or do you think I've scared them all away now?
I think we got a few left.
A couple.
Nobody's called in yet. So
no one's called in. That's because we haven't given the number out for a while. So
but also with your point too about them trying to stay relevant and those kind of things, the best way I think for any of them to do it is to not sell a cookbook online or anything like that. But if they're wanting to stay relevant, maybe do classes like you and Shar do, show people how, a style of how to do it, instead of, you've seen what I've done on TV, now give me money.
I mean, there's something to that. I don't I mean, I don't want him to do the classes, quite frankly, Adam. But yeah,
Something of that effect,
Ixnay and the class nay. But yeah, it's
corner to market there.
yeah. But but you're right. I mean, it's like, what is it that, and some do. There are some that, like, I think Sarah Lemos, she does classes of sorts and stuff. But it is kind of, because it does feel like that there's some who are that they because it becomes like, at what point is it that you're only thinking of it as a job, opposed to like an experience of paranormal where I can only stay relevant if I find a way to be on television or create a YouTube thing or whatever else. And I'm just like, and there are some who are doing shows like Haunted Discoveries that I have great deal of respect for, but they're different. They're not going to the paranormal conventions every weekend to try to sell stuff, and it feels like that they're trying to do more real stuff. And I know that the Project Fear people, they're not going to the conventions. They're still out there shooting and whatnot. It's the ones who haven't really done anything in years and they're still pushing it along. To me, it's just like, you're at a stage that you can't go back to a regular job.
Yeah, and if you do go back to a regular job, somebody's going to pull out their camera phone and be like, look who I saw bagging groceries. Look who I saw working at Menards. Look who I saw, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And then that becomes a huge embarrassment.
Yeah, well, and it's like, but, nothing lasts forever. Like, this show is not going to last forever. There's going to be a point that that will change as well. And you just move on. But, our show isn't, on the level of what some of these other people had. So, we're apart from doing the show, we're also working regular jobs as well. Yeah. So,
and unfortunately, neither of us are plumbers, so we don't have extra money to put into this.
I can't put a nail into the wall. So, yeah. And that's just it as well. Gray Duck Paranormal says, love that, Greg. That's why it's true. That's what it's truly about. I think so. And, I like the event this weekend in Rock Island. There's going to be a lot of people out there talking about concepts and talking to other paranormal teams. There are some bigger names out there, but I mean, it is what it is. But there's a lot of people on ground level that, you can talk to and have a paranormal conversation with. And that's when I'm going to these events. That's what I love. I love having these moments and, having people sit down and talk to me about what they found and what they're seeing, because I'm learning. I don't have all the answers. And I feel like sometimes some of the para celebrities, it works two ways. One way is that people kind of expect them to have the answers. Like if you're on an investigation, they're all just like looking towards so-and-so because they think that they're going to know better than everyone else. After a while, they start thinking they know better than everyone else. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an odd situation. That's what's so weird about this field. But it's like, it's just been really hitting me. It was like, nope, you just gotta worry about the stuff going on in Minnesota. If we're meant to get bigger than that, so be it. But Minnesota is where we need to grow.
And I know another good refresher on that is going to be when we are at Twin Cities Con. Oh, yeah. And just like last year and just like at Iowa, how many people are going to swing by our table and be like, oh, you talk about paranormal? Here are some pictures. Here's this video. And that is the best part of the whole thing, is just going over to the side of the table with someone who's come up and just looking over their evidence with them, what they've caught. They tell you the stories, their experiences. And that to me is the best part of it.
Yeah, they don't want us to validate it. They just want us to listen.
And being a great listener is I think the first key of being a paranormal investigator.
Well, certainly, yeah, and it's certainly to treat everyone's, even if they've been doing it for 2 days versus 15 years, that everyone there is no hierarchy to it. There's no hierarchy to what kind of evidence that you get based on how many years you do it. It can be anything to anyone. Treat everyone with respect in the field. Treat everyone's evidence with respect. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, because it's not like it's a real science. It's a pseudoscience.
It is pseudoscience, yeah.
So it's like, I know there are certain investigators who swear only by one piece of equipment. I know investigators who swear strictly by just how your body feels.
Mhm.
So there are so many different avenues, and there's no way this field should or really needs to be didactic.
No. And just hoping that and also coming from a point as we wrap up here, coming from a point of knowing that I'm not going to change anyone's mind in this field. Well, everything we said tonight, I'm not expecting people to walk away and being like, "You're right. I'm not going to go to a Paracon again." That's not my point I'm trying to make. What I'm just trying to say is that there is more to it than that, and hopefully some people someday will kind of stop and realize. And that's what I love about this radio show, is that we're reaching a lot of people who enjoy paranormal, not on that level we've been talking about all night, but on their own level, and will dip in and out of this show because they're in the mood for something paranormal, and they don't know any of this other stuff that's going on. That's the thing I like.
That is one of the beautiful things about this show. And we cover it all too, whether it be ufology or spirits, aliens, whatever. We usually get it.
Yeah, absolutely we do. So as we wrap up here, I do wish that we could have talked a little bit about question of the week, because I actually thought of something that happened to me, but maybe we'll get to that next week or something like that. But it's a conversation I'm glad we had. Hopefully we weren't too dour tonight for people, because it was a little dour at times, but I was able to express some feelings I've had about a couple different things. So I really appreciate you all listening. Monday we're going to come back. We're going to have Theater in the Round in with Larissa, David, and Alicia. It's going to be fantastic. Big month ahead for us, so please keep listening. We really appreciate you all. Adam, as always, thank you very much for everything. We're going to be back Monday, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hi, it's Matt McNeil. Listen to the Matt McNeil